On a dismal December day, democracy is in action. Years of Brexit deadlock has brought British voters back to the ballot box for the third general election in 5 years. Leaving a polling station in London, Conservative leader Boris Johnson and one of his closest aides. Johnson called the election to try and secure a parliamentary majority so he can press ahead with Brexit unopposed. In North London, a thumbs up from the opposition Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn after he voted.
You all got your pictures, you all right?
The party fought this election on the future of public services, including the country's esteemed National Health Service. In Scotland, the nationalist SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon was feeling upbeat. Her party's main goal is to block Boris Johnson's Brexit.
It's not raining.
An ambition shared by the Liberal Democrat leader Jo Swinson. The party's defining policy is to remain firmly in the EU. It's 96 years since Britain last held an election in December, and voters up and down the country are out braving hostile weather to cast their ballots. They're choosing 650 MPs to represent them, politicians who will decide Britain's future either in or out of the European Union. It's expected to be a close race.
Everyone is very confused, everyone is deeply divided, and families and friends and people are riven in a way I don't think I have seen before in elections in my adult life.
I think it's very tense. People are very upset on all sides of the argument.
Polls close at 10 p.m. GMT. Exit polls will be published straight away, with the first official results known a few hours later. Neave, Al Jazeera, London.
And live to another of our correspondents in London, Rory Challens. Rory, what kind of turnout are we expecting?
Well, that is a big question, and we don't know yet. That's the short answer to that one. We have seen pictures of long queues at some polling stations, but we have no way of knowing at the moment whether that's something that is replicated across the country, or whether it was something that was just a pre-work rush of voters to the polling stations. But as Neave was saying in his report there, it's highly unusual to have an election in the winter, and there is a question mark over whether that is going to affect the turnout as well, with people choosing to stay out of the harsh weather and keep indoors rather than go out and vote. Another question mark hanging over this election is what role tactical voting is going to play, because this is the Brexit election, essentially. People seem to be willing to stray further from their traditional voting patterns than they have done previously, and vote along whether their party is in favour of Brexit or against it. So that could upset things at a certain extent. And also election fatigue, Brexit fatigue, voting fatigue. You know, the British public have been to the polls so many times over recent years that they could decide to stay indoors because they've just had enough of it. It's been in many ways a rather unedifying campaign, and you get the sense from some voters that they don't particularly like any of the candidates that are on offer.
Thank you for that, Rory Challens, live for us in London.